looked like they were going to make the play-in for a majority of this season. Now Tyrese Halliburton's extended. Bruce Brown is in on a great payday for him. They did well in the draft. They brought in Obi Toppin. I like their offseason a lot, and I'll touch on it more after you guys go, but I think they could be set for a play-in tournament appearance too.
Really good all season. First off, shout out to Tyrese for getting his bag. He deserves it. Shout out to Bruce Brown for getting his bag. The JJ Redick type contract, I think it's an option the second year. So even just 1 year of $20+ million, he's going to help them out a lot. Just bringing in some experience, and he's probably going to get even maybe a little bit more of an expanded role to, show a little more of what he can do. So I like that for him. I kind of touched on the Obi Toppin pickup earlier. I feel like when Obi's gotten his opportunity, he's been really good. It's just about consistently getting opportunity, and I think he can find that here in Indiana. And the Jarris Walker pick was just amazing. I just think you're feeling the needs of what you were kind of lacking last year, and I think Jarris Walker from day one is going to be able to come in and provide that intensity on the wing. Probably play multiple positions. I really like that pickup a lot. Indiana, this is a team that not even 2 years ago was kind of in such a weird, ugly spot to where they thought that they can continue to make the playoffs as like a 4 or 5 seed or whatever. They finally moved off of most of those guys. They got their franchise point guard locked up, and they just continue to make solid picks, solid moves in free agency, solid trades. Man. Probably one of the best off seasons, and they were already a team last year that was like really good early on, and then injuries kind of hit, and they, definitely fell off when Reese missed a lot of time. If they can stay healthy next year, this is a team that really could probably be like a top 6 team, to be honest.
Yeah, even assuming that they don't make any big moves, just the roster they have, like, they've really just bolstered their forward position heavily. And if you want to say your guard rotation is going to be Tyrese and then Buddy Hield or Ben Mathurin, whoever wants to be out there, like, that's really a solid 3-guard rotation to have. Having Miles Turner at the center, we know what he brings, and especially just taking passes from Tyrese, he should be able to play that role well for as long as he's going to remain on the roster. And then I think Jalen Smith gave them some quality minutes once he came over from Phoenix, man. Not that he's going to be some great player, but he was given a little bit of a chance, and I think he can have some upside just being a backup big. Doesn't even have to be in a possible playoff rotation. Just spot them some minutes in the regular season. I think he's a fine person to have there. But this forward position, bringing in these 2 guys, I said it when they drafted Jarris Walker. The one thing that everybody kept saying about him is that he plays winning basketball. And for a team that's trying to make a playoff push, that's like the perfect thing for them. But then the other forward you bring in next to him, Bruce Brown, we know he's a winning player. He just won a championship, and his name was all over the place as the Nuggets were doing so. This starting lineup, once again, just like the Magic, I feel like deja vu. Like from 1 through 5, I really feel like they have a solid lineup here. Then a couple of guys off the bench, like Ben Mathurin was great off the bench last season. He hit a little bit of a rookie wall late, but like if he ends up still being on the bench for a fair amount of this season or all of it, he's far from the last guy I'd want to be my 6th man. I think he gives really good production there. And so him leading a bench unit, things look good in Indiana, and they're going to be an exciting team. And as one of the closest teams to where I live, it's like I might want to go catch some games next year because things are looking exciting. And they were already a really good team when Tyrese played last year. I don't even know what the win pace would be, but it had to be somewhere in the 40s. After he goes out, they completely fall apart. A full season of him playing, and especially with this bolstered roster, I don't want to say playoff lock, but damn near.
Yeah, I'd be very shocked if they're not in the play-in next year. I hate predicting whether a team will make the playoffs if they're going to be in the play-in because who knows? It's one game, but this team looks to be in a much better position this year from, like you guys touched on, the wing standpoint, especially, which was their biggest weakness last year. Their wing defense was bad. Their wing production was bad. They had O'Shea Brissett starting. They had Aaron Naismith starting, and they're fine. But those guys playing power forward regularly, especially Naismith, is a problem, and starting regularly is a problem. So that problem is alleviated. Jarris Walker should be a great rookie. Even as a rookie, I expect him to be able to have a very good impact immediately. Not going to be some star-level guy right away, evidently, but I expect him to be a solid starter from day one and only improve throughout the year. I think Obi Toppin's going to have a great opportunity to showcase himself in Indiana as well. Obviously hasn't got the opportunity that you wouldn't typically expect from a lottery selection, but given he was in New York under Coach Tibbs, that shouldn't be much of a surprise. Tibbs will do that at times, and I think in Indiana, he'll get more of an opportunity. And I think the fit with him and Tyrese is going to make for some very fun highlights throughout the course of the year. So I'd imagine that's going to be a very good fit. And the Bruce Brown edition, evidently, we know what he brings now. Everyone knows what he brings now. And I've been shouting his praises since he was starting to carve out his role last year in Brooklyn. Obviously, before that in Detroit, he was starting to show flashes. Last year in Brooklyn, he really started to show it. But they have a few more pieces now where if Tyrese does miss some games, they're not going to be at as much of a loss. Like Bruce Brown being your lead guard is not ideal, but he probably can do it for some games. You still have TJ McConnell around as well if you need someone else to give you some point guard minutes. So they have a couple of guys now that at least you have something if Tyrese does miss some time, because that was the biggest problem for them last year when Tyrese was out, was they went from comfortably in the play-in to one of the worst teams in the league. I don't expect that drop-off to be as significant this year if Haliburton does indeed miss some time, which is probably something you should expect him to miss at this point in time. Now 15 or 20 games, it does seem to be a bit of a trend for him, unfortunately. Hopefully that gets broken over the next couple of years. But the wing improvements is great. The Bruce Brown signing was brilliant. I did not expect him to get that much of a bag, but I am very happy for him, and I'm not mad at the Pacers for giving it to him. Should be one of the most fun teams in the league to watch next year. Probably my favorite offseason of the summer so far from the Pacers, with their draft and the Bruce Brown signing included. And yeah, they're right in there with the Magic for me. They both should be fighting in and around that 6 to 8 seed next year. It's going to be interesting. There's a lot of teams in the bottom of the East that might make a jump, but if there's any teams I'm confident in, it's the Pacers and the Magic. I think those are the two teams I'd be most likely to put my money on to make that jump.
TJ McConnell, Boston, Toronto, Milwaukee should be calling the phone just to see if he's available. I'm just saying because I seen somebody posting on Twitter, Indiana has really 15 guys that could get rotational minutes. Like they are deep as hell right now. So I would expect maybe a couple of those names to maybe be shipped off, just maybe for some second round picks or something, because can't play everybody obviously. So I could definitely see that happening. But a damn good offseason, and Rick Carlisle still a really good coach. So they're going to be playing a lot of really high level competitive basketball this year.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to, I don't know how the name escaped me, but talking to trading TJ McConnell, shout out Andrew Newhart as well, because he had a very good rookie year and is alongside the addition of Bruce Brown is the reason that TJ McConnell is expendable. Just please don't send him to the Raptors, because that's another non-shooter, and we don't need that. We really just don't need that.